Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, I have several guests from Armstrong World Industries. I have Joseph Bondi, who's VP Residential, Milton Goodwin, VP of the Hardwood Business, and Mara Villanueva-Heras, VP of Marketing.
Good morning.
And Joe, just real quick, you've taken this role over from Kevin Biederman as the Vice President of all residential flooring businesses. It's good to talk to you. How are you finding the flooring business?
It's great to be part of Armstrong, a wonderful company with tremendous brand legacy, and excited to be part of the industry. So I've been in building products for most of my career, and great familiarity with the company, the industry, and great to be a part of it.
All right. Well, it's good to talk to Armstrong, clearly the market leader in the production of hardwood flooring in this country, well over $400 million in sales, number one position for a long time. We ran on Floor Daily earlier this week your article that you were moving a major piece of your engineered hardwood business that's been made since 2006 in China to a facility you own in Somerset, Kentucky. Before we get into the details of that, though, Milton, as the driver of this hardwood business, how are you seeing the business this year so far?
So far this year, the market has been softer than we anticipated, basically driven by new housing starts being down. That being said, we expect that we're going to finish the year with better results than we had last year. It may be on the backs of slightly lower volumes than we anticipated, but as you know, the industry has been battling raw material increases and trying to cover those costs. We're starting to see some results of our efforts, and hopefully that generates better results for us.
Yeah, you know, Milton, we run some statistics of our own, and we run them in our annual report. And I may issue a Floor Focus. We talked about 2013. We talked about how hardwood is still the most desirable floor covering when you do consumer research. And last year, the floor covering market overall grew about 7%, and the hardwood market grew between 14 and 15%. So with this rough first couple of quarters we had in 14, it's going to be very difficult to maintain that pace, isn't it?
That's correct. First 3 or 4 months, the weather certainly didn't help us.
But you feel like the second half of 14 may continue along a similar pace as what we saw in 13?
We think it's going to be a little softer.
Let's get to this big news that you are onshoring your engineered wood flooring to your Somerset, Kentucky facility. So I went back in our history. Back in 2006, we ran the release when you committed in March of 2006 to enter into a joint venture with a Chinese timber firm. And each of you were going to spend $35 million apiece. This facility was going to be able to produce 20 million square meters of engineered wood floor covering per year. So obviously that business decision made sense at that time. So what's changed over the last 8 years to make you want to bring this engineered hardwood business back to the United States?
Simply put, the increase in cost of freight, the currency fluctuations out of China, the increase in labor in China has driven us to bring this production to the U.S. That being said, the first thing that we needed to do was be able to produce a product that was world-class. I'm specifically talking about hand scrapes that, the consumers wanted, and we needed to provide that product at a competitive cost. And we started with our American scrape about 2 years ago. We have refined that process over that time, and through the work that's been done in our plant, through our people, we are now able to recreate the products that were being produced in our Kunshan facility. So we're able to provide what the customers want. We have a world-class visual. We can make it cost competitively. We reduce lead times for our customers, provide Made in America, which is coveted in many parts of the U.S. by our customers, and the time was right to do it. The timing was driven by our ability to do it.
Yeah, okay. And if I may summarize, I think most people have realized, anybody in manufacturing, whether it be floor covering or anything else, has realized that for a long time China has been the place to go, especially for a product that required a lot of labor, a lot of hands-on, certainly hand-scraped hardwood, which is very popular in this country, has in the past required a lot of labor to get that done. We've seen some of your competitors use prison labor to do that. So I think it probably made sense in 2006 to take it there. What's changed about the way hand scraping is done now that enables you to be able to bring it here to the States and still be competitive in the market?
We have introduced technology, which is a proprietary process. We have been working for 2 years with the people in our plants to figure out how we utilize the labor that we have to generate the look that our customers desired. So it's a combination of technology. It's a combination of processes that we put in place in our line that has occurred over a 2-year period of time to allow us to get to this point.
Now, this Somerset facility, I know Armstrong has had that plant there for a long time. Does this move require an expansion there? Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Obviously, we're putting a significant amount of volume into that plant. We have been expanding our capacity in the plant for some time now. As our needs grow, we have the ability to expand as necessary in that plant.
Now, you've been making this product, as you mentioned, in Kunshan, China, and as you move it to Kentucky, will you change the source for the core board and the veneer, or what's going on there?
No, we're a vertically integrated company. The product that was made in Kunshan was somewhat unique in that we were shipping veneers that we produced here in the United States to China to our own plant, which we're the only U.S. entity that solely owned a plant in China. So while that product was produced in China, it was being produced with U.S.-made veneers. So the simple answer to your question is no. We produce our own plywood, our cores, and we also peel our own veneers, so no change there.
This facility, which you co-own in China, will you still utilize it in some way, or is it basically for sale? Talk about that.
Well, first off, it's not co-owned. We took sole ownership a few years ago, so we have not been in a joint ownership position there. But yes, the facility is going to be put on the market for sale.
Oh, very interesting. Well, you know, Milton, you and I had a conversation at the NWFA show just a few months ago in Nashville, and we were talking about raw material costs are extremely tough right now. You explained to me, probably better than I heard from anywhere else, that the materials used to produce hardwood flooring, there's a lot of other folks that want to buy those same materials. Talk briefly about that and tell me if things are changing there.
It actually starts with the tree and who's vying for that commodity. Last year you saw the spike in housing starts, so you had a situation where demand was going up, and the people buying for the lumber include not only flooring manufacturers, you have furniture, you also have the fracking part of the world where they're putting drills in, they need to line the roads with that lumber. So there's a lot of people vying for the tree, while at the same time you have less loggers out there, you have less. The sawmills, back in the mid-2000s, we bought from about 7,000 mills. That's now below 3,000. You just have a perfect storm, so to speak, that would drive the cost of lumber up. And we saw it over the last year and a half to two, all culminate with significant increases in lumber costs. Where do we find ourselves today? The lumber costs are at historically high levels still. We have gotten a little bit of help from, unfortunately, the market being softer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
We've also gotten some help on the weather side in the second quarter of this year. So lumber prices have leveled off, but the potential is there for lumber costs to go higher if the market were to come back greater than we thought, and all the dynamics are still in place that help drive lumber costs up.
Okay, Mara, you've got to be excited about this news because since you're the marketing person and you position these products, you understand that the American consumer is actually looking for made-in-the-USA products, aren't they?
Absolutely. And I think on top of that, as Milton described our process, and even if we didn't send our own veneers over, the other element at play here is really an environmental story in terms of sustainability and our carbon footprint. So while that's becoming more important, certainly when we're looking at lead and the perception of our business, the ability to service our customers in terms of lead times and their inventories, and then, as you mentioned, of course, everyone's proud to buy American. It provides jobs. A lot of our plants are in small towns, and so we're having a very positive impact on the job market. So all of that is a great story, and we're getting great interest from our distribution partners and retailers.
All right, guys, congratulations on your news that you are onshoring your engineered wood flooring to your Somerset, Kentucky facility. Again, we've been talking to Joseph Bondi, Milton Goodwin, and Mara Villanueva-Heras, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.